What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I wanted to try out a new idea I had for a potential series. I'm calling it the What is Wrong with Your Overwatch League team series. In these types of videos, I wanted to ramble about a specific team that I have genuine concerns for. In this episode, I wanted to discuss the Washington Justice. This team has been in my mind for the last 2 weeks because of how badly they've been underperforming lately. These guys honestly look horrible right now, and I can't help but feel worried about their future. After Stage 2 concluded, I felt that this team was heading in the right direction. Sure, they only got 1 win, but defeating the Uprising in reverse sweep fashion is very impressive. Sleepy motivating his teammates in that win was a great sign. It seemed that the Justice had finally found the team leader they so desperately needed. I thought for sure they would be on the rise in Stage 3. Arc and Sleepy would most definitely be used to their new team by then, so synergy wouldn't be as much of an issue. Combine that with a tank line that appeared to be improving, and you should have a recipe for success, right? Well, not quite. After the first few games of Stage 3 for the Justice, it was clear that they still had a long way to go. Problem number 1 that is fairly easy to identify is Janus. The man was pretty decent in Stage 2, but he seems to have reverted back to his old ways. What I mean by this is that he is once again playing far too aggressive. This aggression would often be something that he regretted in the past, and Stage 3 has been no different so far. As a result of this, the man is usually either low on health, or he dies first during a team fight. Losing a team member first in a fight always puts you at a disadvantage in Overwatch, but losing your Reinhardt early in the GOATS meta can often seal your fate right on the spot. With no shield to shoot behind, Sleepy, Arc, and even Corey and Sansam to a certain extent are very exposed to enemy damage. Janus continues to have the same problems. Him and his teammates need to get on the same page ASAP. There is definitely some miscommunication going on right now. Janus is often caught out of position, and I have no idea why this keeps happening. Janus either has to tone down his aggression, or the rest of his team has to stop playing so passively. I feel like this team could be so much better if everybody was just on the same wavelength with one another. This Janus problem is honestly kinda sad though. I mean, just look at where he ranks in categories as Reinhardt during team fights. Ignore the Gushway part and read out the stats for Janus carefully on the screen. When you do, you'll immediately realize that his Reinhardt has actually been horrible. Out of 20 players in the league, he ranks dead last in every single one of these categories. Even though Janus overextends a lot, he's not even outputting a high amount of damage like some of the other aggro Reinhardts in the league do. It's starting to become very evident that maybe Janus wasn't worth the crazy amount of money the Justice devoted to him. Was it really a good idea to pay so much for a guy who is statistically the worst Reinhardt in the league right now? Don't worry though, Janus fans. I by no means believe that this team's failure to compete in games is all his fault. It would be ridiculous of me to say that Janus is 100% responsible for his terrible stats. After all, Overwatch is a game that revolves around teamwork, especially when it comes to GOATs. The rest of the team should be trying to step up their game as well. This especially goes for both Otto and Corey. Let's discuss the issues I have with Otto first. So Otto is a player that we know can be pretty good. He was one of the only bright spots on the Shanghai Dragons last year. We are all very aware of what this man is capable of on DPS. The way he plays Brigitte, however, is anything but ideal. In my opinion, he is one of the bottom Brig players in the league. When I watch him play this hero, he gives off a very negative impression. I feel like he doesn't do the same things that many of the solid Brig players in the league do. This especially goes for his armor pack usage. If you pay close attention to how he uses this ability, then sometimes you're going to notice that it's pretty questionable at times. Armor pack offers really good burst healing, so often misusing it can easily lead to some issues for you and your team. This is probably one of the factors that leads to Janus having such low health during team fights. My other big issue with Otto though is his death rate. He currently dies 5.5 times per 10 minutes, and I'll tell you right now that there aren't many Brig players in the league who die more often. I guess him and Janus are both too aggressive for their own good. If Otto can improve upon these two major issues, then I feel that the Justice could make strides toward becoming a better team. Another person who could help improve this team if he gets better at his role is Corey. I'll be honest when I say that his Zarya has been very lackluster. I feel that he's improved a little bit since Stage 1, but where he is right now still doesn't cut it. His damage output isn't the worst, but it could definitely be better. Being top 15 in the league in that category really isn't all that impressive, especially when you consider the fact that an average player like KSF is ahead of him. If Janus, Corey, and Otto can step it up, then we should all expect the Justice to be a more competitive team in the future. But don't worry too much, Justice fans. Although the record would tell you otherwise, there actually have been some bright spots for them. Sleepy and Sansam have actually been popping off even though their team sucks. Arc also has been pretty alright sometimes. Let's talk about the support line first. Sleepy is continuing to showcase that dangerous on Zen we saw from him last year. His healing output and damage is proof of this. I literally have no complaints about the guy right now. Sleepy has been solid ever since he joined the team. In a way, Arc 2 has also picked up from where he left off last year. Even though his team has found little success, Arc still has found a way to almost never die. Just like with Season 1, Animo is the only main support in the league with less deaths per 10 minutes than him. While Arc may not be a super mechanically gifted fragger on Lucio like some of the other ones in the league, he still finds other ways to get the job done at times by making some intelligent plays. But then again, in this meta, having a Lucio who can make big plays has proven to be beneficial. Sometimes those aggressive boops can prove to be quite effective. Arc doesn't really do this though. You could make the argument that he is probably a bit too passive. I mean, just look at the stat comparison between him and Animo. Even though Animo dies less than him, he still gets a lot more damage and eliminations than Arc does. Sometimes it is good to play things safe, but there are other moments where your team needs the extra healing and speed to put them in the best possible position to win a fight. While I definitely believe Arc is not one of the biggest problems on the team right now, him being a bit less passive is something he needs to work on if he wants him and his team to elevate their game and be more competitive in the future. Alright, that's enough about the supports. I wanted to praise Sansam for the way he's been performing lately. I know there was a lot of question marks surrounding him coming into the year, and many people had their doubts about him, but I feel that he's been proving his worth for a while now. I will admit that during Stage 1 he was kind of inconsistent. Sometimes he would pop off and find big value off of his diva bombs, but during other moments he would be caught out of position. But after a few weeks in Stage 2, it was clear that he was a changed man. Some of the mistakes he was constantly making seemed to have disappeared, and that has continued into Stage 3. In fact, right now I would say Sansam is playing the best Overwatch in his career. Even in the team's losses to the Spark, Fuel, and Gladiators, he has still found a way to stand out. The guy's actually been on fire lately. He's been eating grabs and securing a bunch of final blows every single map. Sansam is finally fulfilling some of that untapped potential that many people never even knew he had. If you're a Justice fan, you should be very excited to see what comes next for this young and talented player. Although the Justice as a whole haven't been complete and utter trash, they have a lot of work to do if they want to at least win more than one game per stage. Every player I mentioned has to do their part. But while I do think how a team performs mostly lies on their players, I feel that Washington's coaching staff hasn't really done enough for their players. A good coach definitely can make a difference. It might not be a huge one since the players tend to know more about the game than their coaches, but still, a good coaching staff can definitely help their players get a sense of what they should do and what they shouldn't do. Clearly, the self-proclaimed genius Wizard Young and his assistant coaches have failed to consistently do this. It's not too late to change that before the year ends though. Wizard Young was supposedly a big help for the NYXL last year, so he definitely has what it takes to do the same for his new team. I really want the man to stop with all the genius talk though. It's time that he really proves he's that good of a coach by making sure his team wins more than one game on a stage for once. While I'm pretty sure the Justice have always been in a tough spot financially, I would really like it if they could find a way to go out and either sign or trade for some new talent. It definitely wouldn't hurt to pick up an extra DPS or main tank. I feel that having another option at your Reinhardt, Brig, or Zarya role would be a really good thing to have. If there is a possible way to improve upon one of your weaker positions on the team, then you should do whatever it takes to make it happen. And who knows, maybe adding another main tank to the team would motivate Janus to play better. He's already been casted aside once because of Mano back when he played for the NYXL, so I'm sure he would do his best to make sure that doesn't happen again. Overall, I would say the Washington Justice are not in a great position. I am definitely scared for these guys right now. Even though they have faced some tough opponents, I still expected them to be a bit more competitive than what they have shown so far. They currently still have 0 map wins, and it's hard to see that changing anytime soon as the situation currently stands. This team is struggling hard, and I don't know if they have what it takes to finish the year off on a good note. Please do better in the second half of Stage 3, Justice. Your fans deserve so much better than this. And with that being said, that is going to wrap up today's edition of What is Wrong with Your Overwatch League team. If you enjoyed today's content, then I would appreciate it if you could like, comment, and subscribe. As always, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and until next time, this is ATP, signing out. Peace.